She's appeared on Good Morning America, The Today Show, CNN, CNBC, and Oprah's Radio Network. She's the no-nonsense, tell it like it is, business explosion goddess who helps entrepreneurs monetize their expertise, funnelize their sales, and celebritize their brands. Fasten your seatbelts. It's time to ride with the always hyped host of Big Time Business, Fran Harris.
Did you know that one of the fastest ways to explode your business is through the power of media appearances? Yes, you on radio, on television, on podcast. One of the fastest ways to grow your business. My new book, Celebrity Playbook, shows experts and entrepreneurs how they can leverage the power of television, radio, and media appearances to explode their brands and their businesses in less time than you think. Go ahead and grab a copy at celebrityplaybook.com. Get your copy of Celebrity Playbook at celebrityplaybook.com. Here's today's show.
So I really did not believe it when I saw this commercial. The end of the commercial said, "Thanks, Gatorade. We'll take it from here." And I walked into the other room because it was during March Madness, so I didn't see the beginning of the commercial. And then I came into the room and I was like, who was that? So I got to wait a couple more minutes because it was during March Madness, we knew they were going to play the commercial over and over again. So maybe about 6 or 7 minutes later, I catch this commercial. And it starts talking about this new sports drink. And at the end, it said, "Thanks, Gatorade. We'll take it from here." And I was absolutely blown away because it was BodyArmor, a relatively new sports drink that not only came into the marketplace trying to establish itself as a player, but it went after the mama, the daddy of sports drinks. It went after Gatorade. I was impressed, to say the least. I was very impressed that BodyArmor felt that it had so much juice, pun intended, that it could go after Gatorade. But here's the thing. BodyArmor understood a couple of things. Number one, Gatorade is playing in a huge marketplace with a lot of market share. And BodyArmor says, if we can just make whatever Gatorade's done, just make a version that's better, I bet we can cut into some of that market share. And that's what they did. Now, you may be saying, that's kind of cocky. That's kind of ballsy for BodyArmor to say, "Thanks, Gatorade. We'll take it from here." But that's what they had to do. If they're going to come in and be a player in this marketplace, they had to come after the leader. But here's the other thing. There are lots of other places that sports drinks can play in with today's consumer looking for different segments, looking for different functionality, looking for different taste. You've got coconut water, you've got hemp, you've got distilled water, you've got carbonated water. Like, the beverage industry is humongous, and the sports drink industry is not going anywhere. So if you're going to come into the marketplace, you might as well come in balling. You might as well come in and go after the leader in the marketplace. I don't know if you saw this movie I think it was the late 1990s or the early 2000s. It was called The Perfect Storm. And it was a movie starring, what's his name? Cutie, starring George Clooney and also Mark Wahlberg. And it was about these fishermen on the East Coast. And once, 3 or 4 times a year, they would head out to this really dangerous part of the ocean, of the coast, for fish. They basically were fishermen. That's what they did. And they could get a huge payday when they came back. So they go out for weeks or months. They come back, they have these humongous fish, and then they would get paid all this money, and then they'd wait a while, and then they'd go out again. But here's the thing. It was so dangerous. Going out to, I think it was called the Flemish Gulf or the Flemish Ends or something. It was so dangerous, but they felt like the payoff was worth it. And he had a relationship. George Clooney had this relationship that you could just tell that they loved each other, but we never saw them really together. It was kind of that entire movie. You just kind of knew they loved each other. It was played by Diane Lane, but they never actually hooked up. And so she asked him, and a lot of people ask him, "Why are you going out there? You know it's dangerous. You could die. You could be killed. You could whatever." And George Clooney, in only a way in a style that George Clooney could say, said, "Because that's where the big fish are. That's why I go there, because that's where the big fish are." And that's pretty much what BodyArmor's saying. You know what? We could swim in the ponds and the brooks and the creeks and the little lakes, but we're going to swim with the big dogs. We're going to swim with the big dolphins. We're going to go where the big fish are. We're not going to pretend that we don't see Gatorade. We're not going to pretend that this mass marketplace is not full of opportunity. It is. And we believe we can carve some time. We believe we can carve some space in this mass marketplace with a better sports drink, with a drink that is better for you. And that is what BodyArmor did. And I got to tell you, I can't believe how good it is. I'm going to be candid with you. I cannot believe how good BodyArmor is. I bought like 7 SKUs, 7 different flavors of it. I bought their sugar, their light version, and I bought their full version with the sugar in it or whatever. It's natural. It's amazing. It's really, really good. So shout out to BodyArmor. Hey, they're not sponsoring my show. Plus, I may become a competitor of Gatorade and BodyArmor, so stay tuned for that. But just wanted to let you guys know that wherever you are playing, whichever marketplace you're playing in, go swim, go fish where the big fish are. Hey, have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? You know, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my own show? How do I deal with all the apps? How do I make money for my podcast? The answer to every one of those questions is really simple. It's Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. If you love what I'm doing and you want to do it yourself in your own way, you need to try out Anchor.
You've been listening to Big Time Business with Fran Harris. Results-focused biz nutrition for entrepreneurs, side hustlers, and startups. Be sure to rate the show, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. Get information about advertising and sponsorships at franharris.com.